Good morning, students. I, Chandima Banerjee from DAV Public School CCL Giridi is here to provide you with online video teaching on this crisis period caused due to lockdown due to coronavirus. But before I start with my teaching, I really plead you to join your hands and pray for the well-being of the entire earth. And I really hope that the day is not far when all of us is going to rejoin our services, our daily work, and is going to be healthy like usual. So today I'm here to teach the chapter The Last Leaf, written by O. Henry. This is a short story that is really one of my favorite. O. Henry is one of those writers who stood parallel to Guy de Maupassant. He's an American writer who has excelled in his field with his short stories. And The Last Leaf is one of his the most popular short story. In this story, there are chiefly three characters. The first is Sue, a girl from Maine. Second is Johnsy, a girl from California. And the third one is Berman, an old, unsuccessful painter. Now let's discuss something about the writer O. Henry. His real name was William Sidney Potter, but he wrote under a pseudonym that is O. Henry. He has given us with ample of stories that really touched our heart, among which The Gift of Magi was one of his most effective and impressive stories. Now in this last leaf, let's come to this last leaf. The title of The Last Leaf is really meaningful and it really digs into the core of that story because it's a story of a girl who really gives up her life, or rather her life completely depends upon the falling of the last leaf from that ivy creeper. It's a story of a small Greenwich village that is situated in the west of Washington Square. In that small Greenwich village, the roads are really topsy-turvy, curvy. Each road crossed each other, making a typical angle and a square. That place has been built up mainly by the painters and the artists. They found it much comfortable because of few reasons, like the flat over there, the apartments over there are quite like 18th century apartments, which they find quite artistic, really eerie, and ample of light enters over there so that they can easily paint up and brush up the canvases. Secondly, in each apartment there is an attic, that is, there is a room on the roof in which they could easily been facilitated by a open scenery which could impress them so that they can give their best in the canvas. Thirdly, for the struggling painters, the apartments are quite cheap, and all this reason just pushed them towards that corner of Washington Square, and they formed a small colony of artists and named it as Greenwich Village. And in a 3-storied brick apartment, there lived two friends whose names were Sue and Johnsy. They both were struggling painters. They were at the inaugurating point of their career, where they were just starting up, gearing up their career as a painter. They both belong to two different places. As I earlier also I said, Sue belonged to Maine and Johnsy belonged to California. But both of them met coincidentally or accidentally, you may say, in a restaurant the name of the restaurant was Delmonico's in a 8th Street. And accidentally they found that their taste regarding food, dressing sense, painting, and many more things really matched up. So they both of them decided to come together and merged up their career by establishing a common painting studio on the third story of that apartment in which they used to live. Everything was moving quite well. They met each other in the month of May, but in the month of November, suddenly an epidemic called pneumonia broke out. The sudden arrival of this epidemic named pneumonia is superbly and artistically mentioned by, or rather personified by, O. Henry. He called pneumonia as Mr. Pneumonia, and he just told that Mr. Pneumonia suddenly arrived, an unknown visitor, and it touched each and every life, each and every person with its icy hand. And from east to west of Washington Square got affected. And these two friends was not left out. Chauncey, the weaker one, the physically weaker one with the thin blood that was already affected by California wind, or rather the west wind, got affected with this pneumonia very soon. She took to bed. She was as lean and thin. She lay without any movement. Her condition was very terrible. Sue was really panicked to see the situation of her friend, Chauncey. She immediately rushed to call doctor. Doctor came in, he examined, and he took Sue to the corner of the house, and he said, "Listen, Sue, your friend is not well. The most important part is that a person can only recover if he or she wills to recover. The pharmaceutical division really feels if the will of a person just completely vanishes." And same is the case with Chauncey. Chauncey has given all the hope to survive. So it's very important that you raise the hope inside her so that she wills to live. Otherwise, it's just 10 out of 1 chance that she may recover. Doctor went away. Sue was really disheartened. She rushed into the workhouse that was in the 3rd story of the house, and she wept and wept. But soon she gathered herself and she took a canvas, a painting board, few brushes and colors, and changed her mood just for the sake of a friend, and she went into the room of Chauncey. She entered the room in a cheerful mood, or rather, and acting to be in a cheerful mood, and she kept on whistling. She placed the painting board over there, and she turned to Chauncey, and she found that there was no movement of Chauncey on the bed. There was not even a single ripple that was on the bed sheet. She was laying just like a white, cold statue. Sue thought that Chauncey must be sleeping. So she started her assignment. She started painting the board. She was actually working for a magazine cover. She was trying to capture the magazine story through painting, and she was about to give that painting assignment today evening, and she wanted to earn some money so that their life may move on quietly. Suddenly, while she was painting the cowboy on the canvas, she heard a soft murmuring, a feeble murmuring. She sharpened her ear, and suddenly she heard that Chauncey was murmuring something. She at once went to the side of Chauncey and put her ear sharply so that she may hear what is she saying. She heard that in a feeble voice, Chauncey was just uttering the reverse countdown. She was saying 12, 11, 10, 9, and 8 and 7 was quick enough. Sue knocked Chauncey and she asked, "My dear Joan, my dear Jonah, what are you saying? What is going on in your head? Tell me, dear." Johnsy, whose eyes were broad open, who was peeping through the Dutch window that was there in her room, and she was looking into something. Sue was confused. Sue thought, through the window, what is there behind that? Sue went to the window and she peeped from there. She saw that there was a brick wall, and in that brick wall there was a half dead ivy creeper that was just climbing up. It was already half dead, and the children had blown up the leaves. There were only few leaves that was there in the weak twigs of that ivy creeper. She came down to Johnsy and she said, "Johnsy, what are you counting, my dear?" Johnsy said, "See, Sue, there are 3 days back, there were 100. While I was trying to count the leaves, I was having headache. There were innumerable leaves. But with the advent of the cold, icy wind, all the leaves went away. All the leaves had fallen up. But now I can count them, and the leaves are falling very quickly. It was 12, then it became 11, then it became 10, then 9, and 8 and 7 were quick enough. And believe me, Sue, when the last leaf will fall, with that swing of the last leaf, my life will also go away from this earth. That is, I am going to die." Sue was surprised. Sue was trying to motivate her. Sue said, "My dear Johnsy, the doctor had given a guarantee of your life. He didn't never say that you are going to die. He said there are chances." Sue simply reversed the statement of the doctor, and she said to Johnsy, just to motivate her, just to raise hope in her mind, she said, "The doctor said that among 10 there are 9 chances of revival of your health. So cheer up, take this broth, and definitely you will recover soon." But Johnsy said, "My dear Sue, I am not going to recover." Sue said, "I am going to put the curtain on this ivy creeper. You have a quiet sleep. You take this broth. I will complete the assignment and I will take it to the editor. I will earn some money, and today evening I am going to get some good wine for you and some good chops for myself, and we are going to really enjoy like before." But Johnsy said, "Neither I want a broth, nor I want some wine. I am going to sleep for your sake, but as soon as you complete the assignment, just knock me. I want to have a close eye on that creeper because I want to see the last leaf falling by." Sue said, "It's okay, my dear." Sue again started doing her work, and suddenly she remembered that she needs a model. And for the model, she needs to call Berman. My dear students, a new character that is introduced in the story. Now, who is this Berman? A short introduction to him. Berman is an old painter who had never succeeded in his field. His entire life is a failure. He is above 60. His faces are really distorted. His voice is really husky. He looks much like a Greek god with a long beard. But he has a dream that before he dies, he should give his masterpiece to this world. Sue went to Berman. She uttered the entire story of Johnsy to Berman. Berman, instead of sympathizing with Johnsy or Sue, he started shouting. He said, "What a foolish thought your friend has. And I'm not going to model for you. You are the culprit. Why you have entertained your friend to grip all such stuff in her mind?" Sue also got angry and she said, "I don't want to model like you. You stay here. I'm going to complete my assignment on my own." Berman understood that Sue was also tensed. Then Berman said, "My dear Sue, I will model for you, but try to understand what I mean to say. That living the hope and thinking negative is something that is going to end up her life completely. How she is going to recover? That is what I am thinking." Sue and Berman went away to their workhouse, and when they crossed the room of John C., they just peeped into it and they saw that John C. was completely sleeping. They did not disturb her and they shifted her themselves into the next room. From the next room, they peeped from the window and both of them were nervous because that night a complete rainfall was happening, a chilled night with that rainfall was accompanied with snow showers. They were tensed because only one leaf was remaining and they were pretty sure that with the advent of the morning light that last leaf is going to go away. Sue started her assignment. It lasted for quite a long time with the model Berman. But as soon as the painting was completed, Berman went away and Sue took a good sleep for 1 hour. When Sue was awake the next morning, she saw that John C. was already looking into the curtain window. She asked Sue to remove the curtain so that again she may stare at the last leaf. Sue very nervously removed the curtain because now she was hoping that with the windy night the last leaf must have blown away. But the moment she opened the curtain, she saw that the last leaf was still there with its stalk fluttering in that weak twig. John C. saw that still some hope is there. The last leaf is still sticking into the twig of that weak creeper. But she said that, "My dear Sue, the entire day is there. The wind is still blowing and today's night is also going to be a windy night. So I'm sure that today is my last day because today the last leaf is sure to fall." Sue was disheartened, but she cannot help her friend. She can only see her die. Sue went away. That night also the same thing happened. It was the north wind started blowing fiercely. The entire climate was really windy. It was the rainfall was hitting the window panes and snow was also falling. There hardly remains any hope that the last leaf is not going to fall. The entire night, both the friends could only hope that the last leaf should be there. Morning came, morning light came, and with the advent of the next morning, again the curtain was removed. And John C. and Sue was surprised to see that the last leaf still remains there. John C. was really thrilled. She felt a boost of hope in her heart. And she exclaimed to her friend that, "My dear friend, as the last leaf is still there, so I am going to survive. My life will be there. And today onwards, I'm going to take care of myself and I'm sure I'm not going to trouble you anymore." So, John C. started recovering. Sue called the doctor for a re-examination. Doctor came and found John C. quite well. Doctor said that yes, there is chances. But a very sad news arrived with the advent of the doctor. The doctor broke the news that Berman, the old painter who used to stay in the ground floor of that same apartment, has faced death due to pneumonia. Sue went there. Sue saw Berman's body lying. It was chill cold. The painter has gave up his life. She saw that there were paintings, yellow, green color, and there was a ladder on the wall in which the ivy creeper was climbing. She saw some colors in the hands of Berman and she understood. She examined the last leaf, and she saw that it was not the original leaf, it was the artificial leaf that was painted by Berman the last night. It actually happened that when Berman saw that the wind was quite strong and the last leaf has fallen down, he understood that tomorrow morning when Johnsy is going to wake up and when she is going to find that the last leaf has fallen down, she is going to die. So, in that chill, windy night, he got a ladder, he painted the last leaf, and he just stick it in that ivy creeper so that it will remain till the next morning, and Johnsy is going to revive by saying that the last leaf has not given up its life even in the windy night. And while he was doing so and so, he was completely drenched up with rainwater, and he got cold and he suffered from pneumonia, and finally he gave up his life. So, my dear students, Berman made his masterpiece. Though his life was a failure, but lastly, he painted his masterpiece and saved Johnsy's life. He was the angel painter who saved Johnsy's life, and his masterpiece was the last leaf. So, this is the end of the story in which we learned that a human being should always carry humanity in his or her heart. That is the biggest gift of God, that we should never give up, that we should always flourish in ourselves. Today, the time is really tough. We are suffering from crisis period. COVID-19 or Corona has really affected our life. So, students, let's join our hand so that we can struggle together and we can hope for a better future. Thank you so much. Be safe, be healthy.